All right. Media Assassins back at you with a hip hop overall music legend. Two-time Grammy Award winning producer. This man has worked with, again, we're talking the notorious B.I.G. We're talking Tupac Shakur. We're talking Alicia Keys, Miles Davis. Just name somebody he hasn't worked with and elevated. I mean, to be honest with you, I'll say the mastermind behind Bad Boy Records. So here we have the legendary Easy Mo B. How's it going, sir?
All right, peace to everybody.
Yeah, man, great to have you here, man. So, really the purpose, man, obviously we're the death of the notorious B.I.G., where, I don't know, it's like a seasonal thing. Every time that happens, you're part of the conversation. Well, hey, you worked with the notorious B.I.G. You did Ready to Die, There's a whole Bad Boy affiliation, but there's so much more about you as a producer, as a person, and as a man that I really want to get out of this discussion. So, I want to take it back. I want to take it back to, the young Austin Harvey, who aspired.
That's me.
To
Austin Harvey.
So like say my whole government name though?
Right. Well, I didn't say Junior.
Okay.
Or even better than that. Booby. Yeah, that's the family nickname. That's the. I'm gonna tell you why my mother nicknamed me that.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you that much.
Okay.
Nikki, we'll get it out of him. But yeah,
eventually.
Yeah. But I want to take it back. Like, what sparked the thought of, hey, I want to be a producer, a music producer?
I didn't actually even want to be a producer.
Oh.
Okay.
All I ever really wanted to be is a DJ. Was a DJ. Because the love of the music started from my father. He played a lot of music in the living room. I grew up in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Lafayette Gardens Projects, a.k.a. LG.
Right.
And he played a lot of music around the house. But after growing up, I say somewhere like around about 10 years old, I watched, now this is disco era. I watched what they would call like the block party or the jam be born. The DJs would bring out the big, they called them ass kickers. Those big scoop folded horn type speakers. And
right. 2
turntables, the mixer. And I noticed the DJ, one record is playing, he's on another turntable. This turntable is playing and he's got the headphones on cue and listening to the other one and trying to mix. A lot of the mixes back then at that time, hey, I'll tell my age. It was like 1975.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm watching them mix stuff like Donna Summer, Crown Heights Affair, Dreaming a Dream, disco, records like that. Super disco, the rim shots.
Yeah.
It's like real early funky disco.
Okay.
And I'm watching them trying to blend. And sometimes they were train wrecks, sometimes it was on time. And they would always have a MC present. Right. Small talk, nothing real big, like, party people with the echo.
Right.
And you say, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Real small talk. And then that kind of, as time went on, that's 75, okay, somewhere around about 77 to 78. Then you start hearing the, yes, y'all, to the beat. And it changed from the disco to the important parts of those disco records, the breaks.
Yeah.
And now the DJ got 2 copies of the same record, and he's cutting those breaks over and over, and the MC is on top rapping.
Right.
So I watched that whole thing happen in the back park right there in Brooklyn, and all I wanted to be was a DJ. At that time, the DJ was the most important and the most essential component in the whole thing. People don't realize that the DJ was the man back in the day. That's who you wanted to be. The MC, and they wasn't even called rappers yet. It was like secondary. It was all about the DJ. So that's who I wanted to be. And okay, so we go up in the years. That's around 79. First rap records come out. Rapper's Delight, Super Rapping, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5. Curtis Blow, Christmas Rapping, Fatback, King Tim III, all of that happens. Russell Simmons starts Def Jam, and now hip-hop is on its way. Hip-hop makes it to radio. Mr. Magic, WHBI, Marley Marl, In Control, Mr. Magic Radio, and WBLS. The Juice Crew. I just speeded you up to the point of the Juice Crew, which was Big Daddy Kane, Biz Markie, Roxanne Shante, and what Marley Marl was doing to me, it just blew my mind. It was incredible. What he was doing, he was sampling.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was straight loops, and sometimes he would like chop pieces out of the record, chop drum pieces, horns, guitar, whatever, and create these beats. Now, mind you, check this out. I know this is gonna sound crazy. Probably about 3 or 4 years before that, as a young kid, I dreamed and I envisioned and I wished, when I was a kid, I said, I wish they could make a machine where I could take this kick from this record and that snare, and they made that machine.
What was that machine?
The SP1200.
Yeah, I sampled some crazy sounding, look, listen at that. Like just weird sounding stuff. All kind of stuff, man. When we had all together, after I finished with it, wow.
And so I found out that's what Marley Marl is using. That's what Said G of Ultramagnetic, who produced South Bronx, The Bridge Is Over, a lot of all of the Ultramagnetic MCs.
Yeah.
You know, Paul C, a lot of these guys, Herbie Lovebug, Hitman Howie T. These are my musical heroes. These are the ones who Bomb Squad.
Right.
Because, you know, the time was passing on.
Yeah.
And Bomb Squad, PE's Bomb Squad was a huge influence on me too.
Yeah.
So I got my break. I was in a group called Rapness Fundamental. And that was from somewhere like about 86 up to around 88 to 89. We released an independent single record. And the member of my group, A.B. Money, he used to go to Sarah J. Hale High School downtown Brooklyn with Big Daddy Kane. So I used to always tell him, like, yo, man, tell Kane I want him to hear my beats. You know? And there's real makeshift type stuff. Like, I had like pause tapes. I had the Casio FZ1 sampler, which looks like a little kitty Casio thing. But I worked it out.
Yeah.
And I laid multi-tracks with 2 tape decks. I did whatever I could do to emulate what I heard happening on those records that Marley Marl and Said G and all the other guys were doing. And so finally, Kane gave me the break.
Yeah.
Once and for all, he listened to the stuff that I had, and that's what became another victory.
Here comes the conquering brother that varies and never ceases. Violators pick up the pieces that are left behind as you're left to find. The fury of the 5 fingers of death. My mind gripping on a microphone, reciting a poem, giving competition a Big Daddy syndrome.
And Calling Mr. Welfare featuring Cool DJ Red Alert on Kane's second album. It's a Big Daddy thing. Mind you, like the making of the first album, Long Live the Kane, we were there. Me, AB, and JR Riff, we was like following around, tagging everywhere he was going. So I missed that boat. But the second album, I got on there, and I'll never forget, like when the album came out, when you flip it over on the back, it had the pictures of all of the members of the group, Kane, Mr. C, Scoob, and Scrap, and they had all of the producers listed. And then that's when it finally kicked in. I saw my name on the back of the album, and the list of producers was, they had like an asterisk and then a star, a check, different symbols that were placed next to the records to let you know who produced what. And I saw produced by Marley Marl, produced by Teddy Riley, produced by Prince Paul, produced by Easy Mo B. Right.
Wow.
I was in my room in the projects like, yo, it's on.
Yeah.
So
Got a credit to my name.
When album covers meant something, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
That's true. I'm thinking like 75 to now, 2020, the music, how it has shifted. But in a sense, it hasn't. I told a lot of people that was listening to my podcast that music has actually not really changed much because there's so many people that are in the music industry now that are sampling that old music that we listen to. Mm-hmm. They were hating on me. Like, I'm putting them on to the old stuff and they're like, nah, we got to get the new stuff.
Right.
But I'm like, no, you're listening to the old stuff.
It's recycled, right?
But new people are just trying to tweak it a little bit to make it their own.
That's very true what you're saying. I wanted to interject and say, with the trap music and a couple of years ago, they had a term called trill going, and sometimes I can't even understand what's the latest way to describe.
Yeah.
But that general now sound is. I was just talking with and telling somebody yesterday. It's nothing merely but a throwback to what I used to call the early Def Jam 808 sound.
Yeah.
Like Beastie Boys, right? LL Cool J, heavy 808 and drum machine influenced, and for the most part, it was just hip hop started out with just drums. It wasn't too much layers of music.
Yeah.
Sometimes light keyboards, but the rhythms are slightly different, but the same, the same element is there.
Right.
I want to take it back, man. So you see your name.
The raps are not good enough, though.
No, man.
Facts.
Not all.
I don't
of
really
them. That's
know
not speaking
what-
for everybody.
Oh, and you know, 'cause
Some.
you've worked with the best. But I want to take it back, man. You saw your name on that album cover. Did you like say, "Hey, I've arrived"? Did you like what was next?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I hadn't arrived yet because I was still in the project. I was like, I got to get out of here. And thinking, a little bit further down the line, not just being selfish, but I had a plan. I actually said, not only me, I want to help get my family out of here.
Yeah.
Which is something that, thankfully, I can say, accomplished that.
Yeah.
Me and my brother, LG, shout to LG. He's a producer, too. We took our money together and put it together in, what was that, 95 to 96, and helped move my parents out of the project.
That's beautiful,
Nice.
man.
And people talk about the American dream. That's what this is all about. This wasn't all about, it's from the joy of the spinning the records and the beats and everything, but we live to be compensated for our efforts, too. In the same way other people look to achieve that so-called American dream. You know what? We're part of the American dream, too.
Yeah.
So that's all I wanted, that I wanted to achieve along with, or rather from that joy of the music that I still hold inside dear to my heart.
What was the next, I guess, major project that you were involved in beyond the Big Daddy Kane?
Well, after Big Daddy Kane, there might have been a couple of remixes, but then I went to some tagging behind Kane, some event, and this really tall guy walked up to me. He extended his hand, shook my hand, said, "Hey, yo, peace, man. My name is Mel Kwan. Yo, I got a artist that I want you to work with. His name is The Genius." And he said, "Yo, this is just one of them." He said, "It's like 8, 9 more." He said, "They got this concept where, they want to fuse the martial arts together with the hip hop." Me, back then, I was like, hip hop was a lot more simpler and everything.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't say that to him, but in my mind, I was like, yeah, whatever, man. Let's just.
Right.
So I met Genius. They came to my house. We started doing demos. I actually still hold demos of The Genius and Old Dirty Bastard.
Wow.
I have Old Dirty Bastard demos on cassette. The
Wow.
Genius, too. That led to a recording deal at, here we go again, back to Kane's label, Cold Chillin'.
Yeah.
They signed The Genius, and that album came out. I produced 10 songs. My brother LG Experience, he produced 4. Jesse West did 1. The album came out. It had a decent response, but it didn't blow up.
Yeah.
But I noticed that years later that 8 or 9 thing, martial arts. He was,
Right.
Mel Korn was telling me about. That's what became Wu-Tang.
So the ironic thing is that, you know, Wu-Tang has their show on Hulu. I believe it's called Wu-Tang Saga, The American Dream. And I saw one of the episodes where RZA, he's portrayed in going into was it Sam Ash? Yeah,
I saw that.
Sam Ash. And so you're portrayed in leaving Sam Ash with that beat machine. And he got inspired, like, hey, I got to have that beat machine. And then pretty much it was said that you bought the last one, and he was crushed.
I hope your podcast can clear this all up. Because, everybody watching the podcast.
Yes,
like,
let's talk about it. Real talk.
And spread the word right here, okay, from right here. That's not the way it went. But it was just a movie. But I appreciate the way he even dropped me and remembered me and made me a part of that.
Yeah.
Maybe that was just made for TV, like they say, but the real thing is that he used to come over to the projects with Genius, with Mel Korn and old Ason, Unique, a.k.a. Old Dirty Bastard. And when I was on the 1200, he would ask, like, yo, G, how you do that? And how you separate them output channels? And he used to ask little questions.
Yeah.
Little questions, he not a whole lot. He was paying real close attention. And next thing you know, he's on his own doing his thing. I produced his first single too, The RZA. He was Prince Rakeem then.
Yeah. We love you, Raheem.
Wow.
Not that one. The B-side, a record called Sexcapade.
Yo, this is Sexcapades. It's Sexcapades. Black and ladies, travel crazy.
You don't want to claim that. We love you, Raheem.
Nah, that was a cool record.
Okay.
But I don't want people to think I did that one. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. I just listening to RZA's productions, there's like a lot of soulful elements in there, and you definitely, you know, there's a lot of soul, especially in your earlier productions, man. Like going back to even like Another Victory, it's that soulful boom bap stack sound.
I was just gonna say, I didn't want to cut you off while you were talking, but back then, me and my brother LG, man, we was heavy on this, the Memphis thing, the stacks. That also being, we always called it the Al Green sound. Or better yet, produced by Willie Mitchell. We was just fascinated by that sound. Anything produced by Willie Mitchell, you know, O.V. Wright, Syl Johnson, what's her name, Ann Peebles, Al Green himself.
Wow.
That whole sound. And so when RZA came around and we were doing, I guess maybe he picked up on that.
Yeah.
But they took it to a whole nother level.
Yeah. Yeah, man, you know, give him credit, man. Student of the game, you know, he took it and he did his own thing with it, man. I think, you know, that's just hip hop, I guess, right? Yeah, man.
Well, how do you feel about hip hop now? With some of today's artists that are out there.
I'm not always happy.
I gotta call it hip hop.
Yeah, I'm not
just
always.
Because.
Right. I'm not always happy with everything that I see and I hear. But I understand why. You know, since the time of what we was just speaking about, technology has changed.
Yeah.
Not only has technology changed, which enabled a whole bunch of whatever to rush through. Yeah. See, when I was going to the studio, you had to not have enough money to rent time at the studio.
Yeah.
Then you had to have somebody that felt that you was even good enough to book a session.
Yeah.
Now, or rather somewhere towards like the late 90s, around there, that's when you start really seeing that. Definitely by the millennium, enter the home studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After enter the home studio, enter iTunes.
Yeah.
Now you can make it all in your bedroom, and you can open an account and sell it on iTunes.
Yeah.
And now all of that stuff was great, but a lot of that is what the labels began to sign.
Yeah. Yeah, I think just...
So, A&R wasn't going to Cafe One, this venue, hey, can I speak to you for a minute? You're interested in...
And they go to your IG page now.
Now the way artists
Right.
are signed a lot of times is through YouTube, things like YouTube, or sometimes maybe you have 354,000.1 followers on Instagram, and they're like, "Yo, who's that?"
Right.
And you get it's all kind of different reasons why.
Forget
It's like
quality.
iTunes, SoundCloud. You
Yeah.
can upload something on SoundCloud now.
Yeah.
And then something else that I think that got a major effect on the music. This is a totally different world now. It's a totally different world. We're not in the same place and mindset that we was in 10, 15, 20 years ago. You know, on the way here, I'm listening in the car, you know, on 1010 Winds. The crazy coronavirus thing and
We were just talking about that.
all kind of elements and things that's just going on in this world right now that
Yeah.
just make it a totally different place than from what it used to be. So the mindset is different, and the people respond different.
I want to like really get on this timeline, man, because I want to really dig deep in getting an understanding of like who you are. You know, a lot of times when people talk about hip hop producers and things of that nature, you always hear, you know, Primo, DJ Premier, Dr. Dre, you know, P-Rock is thrown in the mix, and then, you know, to be honest with you, then you hear your name mentioned. Why is that? You know, why are these guys, you know, when they think hip hop, boom, you know, Dr. Dre? Is it?
I think a lot of that has to do with popularity,
Right.
higher visibility, things like that. And I got a lot of interviews. Like whenever people call me, as long as it's something I think that's worth it, I'll do it. But it's just that I don't know. I guess it's always been a higher visibility with them.
Yeah.
Or then again, people have their own pick.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm fine with that. I know one thing. I know that a lot of the things that I did are cemented into the wall of music history that can't be denied.
I want to go back into some of that history. So we're talking, you know, like having a hand in, you know, the Jizza and RZA. When did Miles Davis come into play? Like, what created the opportunity for you to be selected to work with Miles Davis, which is phenomenal?
Believe it or not, right after Genius.
Wow. Okay.
And it scared the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Rest in peace, Francesca Sparrow from RPM, Rush Producers Management. That was the producer division that Russell created for management. And I became a part of that. I was managed by Rush. And right after Genius, she called me into the office one day, and she was like, "Boo." Yeah, she knew me that well. Called me by the family nickname.
Right.
"Boo." These was her exact words, I remember. "Listen, Miles has been hanging out with Russell, and he wants to get into hip-hop." I was like, "Miles who?" She said, "Miles Davis." I thought that's who she was talking
Right.
about.
Yeah.
And she's like, "I want to put some of your stuff on a reel and send it over to him and kind of see what he thinks. Because he wants to make an album and he wants to get into hip hop." So a meeting was arranged for me to go to his apartment. At that time, he was living on Central Park West between 88th and 89th. I remember it clearly. Went up, played the stuff, and one of the first tracks that I had prepared when I got there was the track for the Doo-Bop song.
Yeah.
The one that which ended up me and Riff rapping and singing on it.
Of course.
Just kicking that Doo-Bop sound.
Right.
And from there, he just opened up. And he was, I remember like the first time I played it, he was just kind of like staring off. He was like a serious face. Miles would do that for no reason. The eyebrows start going down into the nose. And he's like, he's listening. He's looking at me. He's just listening. He said, "Yeah, I like that. I like that." And Fran booked some time at Unique. We went in, and it started with that record, and then we just kept on recording. We actually got 6 songs done, and then the manager, Gordon Meltzer, he came to me and said, "Look, Easy, Miles has to go out of town. You got to do some shows, so we'll finish when he comes back." Thing is, Miles didn't never come back. So the true length of an album is about 10 songs.
Yeah.
And we had 6 done. So what they did was, one of the songs, Mystery, they made a reprise of that.
Right.
And then they dug into the Warner Brothers vaults. And from what I understand, I think the songs that I remixed, I think they come from what was called the Rubber Band sessions, stuff that he recorded with Prince.
Never knew that.
Wow.
So they dug into the vaults, pulled up some two old masters and said, look, can you remix these? And these 2 songs will be added to the song. You have 6 songs, the reprise 7, and if you do these 2, that'll be 9 songs that could make an album. So that's what happened.
What song from that project is like special to you?
I just posted it on my Instagram page today. the stuff that's far from, because it was a hip hop, jazz influence, fusion influence type album, but the one song on there that's far from hip hop, don't have nothing to do with hip hop, is a song called Sonia.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorites.
It's a beautiful song.
Rest in peace, CD 101.9. They used to be here in New York. Yo, they used to love that record. They used to play that.
Miles is he's a jazz god. Like my favorite is John Coltrane, the Thelonious Monk, and Miles Davis. That's like the holy trinity of jazz to me personally. But Miles, legend, and I'm sure that and he's a character. He was a character. So was there any any interesting stories that you experienced with Miles Davis? Because he was definitely peculiar, and he had definitely interesting personality.
Yeah, one of the last time that I saw him when we was in the studio, this was the day when Gordon came to me and told me, that they got to leave and do some shows and come back. Miles had invited his girlfriend to the studio and some of their friends. So we was working on a song. He came out the booth, and I never ever seen him like that. Sometimes he'd be quiet and real, or just about his business.
Yeah.
And that day when the girlfriend came over, he was lifting up his shirt, cutting up, playing with her. I remember that. He lifted up his shirt. You could see his T-shirt and everything. He was cutting up. I said, that's Miles. And I don't know, maybe it was like that was the last way I was meant to see him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like in a good mood, because everybody else know him for screaming on people, cursing at them. I saw that too.
Yeah.
The keyboard player, Darren Johnson, oh, he ate him alive. It's like, mother, can't you play this?
Right.
Yeah.
He was about his business. Like any regrets?
No, I don't. Actually, I don't. It's funny you asked that. That's life. Mm-hmm. You can't turn back the hands of time.
Right.